It was an ordinary day, sunlight spilling across the dashboard, music low, tires humming on the road. Nothing to hint that life would hang by a thread. But most miracles begin this way, not on mountaintops, but in ordinary moments when heaven breaks through. This is the story of Marcus, a man who had drifted from faith, rarely prayed, and quietly believed God wasn't interested in him. On this day, everything would change. Marcus grew up in church. As a child, he'd sit beside his mother, swinging his legs under the pew while the choir sang of grace and mercy. He knew the verses, could recite psalms, and prayed before bed. But adulthood had dulled his faith. Late nights, chasing success, and repeated disappointments chipped away at his spiritual life. Prayer felt distant, church optional. Achievement could not fill the ache in his heart. One Saturday afternoon, the sky clear and the wind warm, Marcus drove home from a friend's town, coffee in hand, scrolling playlists. The highway stretched through golden fields, peaceful and empty. Lost in thought, he spoke aloud. God, I don't know what you want from me anymore. If you're still out there, I don't even know what to say. No thunder, no light, just wind and tires. An hour later, the road narrowed, winding through thick woods. Marcus slowed, sensing unease, but shrugged it off. Then he heard it, clear, calm, firm. Turn around. Heart pounding, Marcus looked around. No one was there. Not from the radio, not from his thoughts. Inside. Real. Authoritative, yet peaceful. Marcus, turn around. Now. Every instinct told him to ignore it, but something deeper urged obedience. Hands trembling, he pulled over, turned, and drove back. 2 minutes later, a deafening crash shattered the silence. A semi-truck had jackknifed it across the lane he'd just left. Several cars collided, twisted in smoke and fire. The place where his car would have been, seconds earlier, was now wreckage. Marcus stepped out, body trembling, heart pounding, tears streaming. He realized if he hadn't turned, he would have been in that pile of twisted steel. The voice had saved him. Later, a police officer asked if he had seen the crash. He nodded quietly. I was supposed to be there. That night, Marcus sat in the dark, replaying the voice. Turn around. He thought of all the times he ignored God's nudges, realizing the warning was also a call to return to him. Days passed with restless nights, but alongside fear came gratitude. He began reading his Bible. John 10 verse 27 struck him. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. He prayed, wrestling with doubt. Lord, if that was you, why me? In the stillness, he felt a whisper in his heart. Because I'm not done with you yet. Marcus began to see the crash as more than a physical event. It was a spiritual wake-up call. He returned to church, sat near the back, tears streaming during worship. Psalm 91 resonated. For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. The pastor said, God spared you not just to save your life, but to awaken your heart. Marcus volunteered, reconnected with friends, and slowly the emptiness faded. Months later, he lived with renewed purpose, often telling people, the voice that told me to turn around, it wasn't just saving me from a crash. It was saving me from myself. He realized God's voice often comes as a gentle whisper when the heart is still enough to listen. Sometimes, God's most powerful message is 2 words, turn around. Looking back, Marcus saw God's hand in every disappointment, every ache. Like Jonah, he had run until a storm forced him to return. Psalm 46 verse 10 became his daily reminder. Be still and know that I am God. He journals prayers and reflections, remembering the day of the voice. Life didn't pretend to be perfect, but it was purposeful. Marcus shares his story not for attention, but to show that God still speaks, leads, and saves. He says, I used to think God had forgotten me. Now I know. He never stopped speaking. I just stopped listening. Every time he drives that road, he slows near the curve, not out of fear, but reverence. God is closer than we think, even on ordinary days. The greatest miracle wasn't just surviving. The real miracle was that God called me by name, and I finally answered. For anyone feeling distant from God, Marcus encourages. Maybe you've wandered far. Maybe faith feels cold or prayers empty. God hasn't stopped speaking. Sometimes he whispers through a song, a sermon, a stranger, or even a quiet voice. If you'll listen, you might hear him say what he said to me. Turn around. In love, because he wants you home. Divine intervention doesn't always come in fire and lightning. Sometimes it's a quiet warning that saves your life, restores your soul. God's message is the same. I am with you always. Matthew 28, verse 20. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to subscribe. Join us as we share more real stories of faith, hope, and the power of God's hand at work in everyday lives. Your subscription helps spread these messages to others who need encouragement. Thank you for watching this episode.